Hello, this is Lani from Gingivic Garden. In this video, I want to share with you the process I go through whenever I transition from the summer to the winter season. During the summer, the beans I grew in this Vigo Garden raised bed produced so well for me. I had a great time harvesting different varieties of vibrant color beans. When I was just learning how to garden in my zone, I had a hard time letting go of plants, but thankfully, it gets easier each year. I used plenty of fall leaves when I filled up this raised bed, and you can see how much it settled because those organic materials are now broken down. That's one of the drawbacks of using organic materials as fillers when filling up an extra tall raised beds just like this, but I'm okay with it. Part of my process in replenishing my raised bed is adding compost materials. Whenever possible, I cut the organic matter like these garden clippings into smaller pieces to help the microbes break them down faster. Aside from this, I also add kitchen scraps, yellowing leaves, and compost materials that aren't fully broken down yet. By doing so, I am able to add organic materials to the garden, which becomes food for the microorganisms that will feed my plants eventually. I like growing all year round and maximizing my space. So I make sure to cover them deeper with soil so I can use the space to grow cool season veggies. I made some potting mix by simply mixing in some perlite, vermiculite, azomite, and some of my worm castings. Worm composting with red wigglers is an excellent way to compost and produce some rich organic soil amendments. I added a couple more bags of potting soil to fill up this raised bed to the brim before I planted those cool season vegetables. Among the plants growing in this garden bed are cabbages, Asian greens like tatsoi and bok choy, spinach, regrown celery, and cilantro. After transplanting the seedlings, I fixed my DIY hoop cover system. The purpose of this hoop cover frame is to protect the plants when draping over the netting or plastic sheeting over the plants. This one is the easiest and budget-friendly hoop cover system you'll find. The arches are half-inch poly tubing cut into pieces depending on how tall or wide your raised bed is. If you have some old half-inch water tubing similar to this, you can repurpose those into this. Aside from the tubing, I also use stakes to serve as the foundation and to secure the hoops in place. I crisscrossed the hoops and connected them in the middle to provide support for when we have snow that could potentially accumulate and weigh down on the cover. As far as measurement, I just played around with the length that works best for the size and length of my raised bed, but you can be precise if you want. Just make sure you consider the size of the plants once they mature. I've also used cords to tie the intersections and support the structure. You can use any tie you want. Keep in mind that this kind of hoop cover frame is ideal only for areas that don't get very thick amount of snow or get very strong wind. Otherwise, this may not last very long. Before covering the plants, I also mulch the soil. I like mulching the soil for several reasons. It protects the soil. It regulates the moisture and temperature of the soil. It protects the plants by minimizing soil-borne diseases. It makes the raised bed look clean, and overall promotes a healthier soil ecosystem. Straw, wood chips, or shavings and dry leaves are among the most common materials used for mulching. I use cedar pet bedding as mulch, which is basically wood shavings. During the fall, I use fine insect netting to cover my plants. I use them to protect my brassica plants from moths that lay eggs that become cabbage worms. It also helps protect them from wildlife like deer that can easily devour them. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to cover them soon enough, so I still got hit by some pest issues later on. In a perfect world, I would have covered them as soon as I brought them outside to harden up, but my garden life ain't perfect. Now that we've been getting freezing temperatures, it was time to replace the netting with frost protection. At this point, I've also brought my watering wand inside the house to prevent frost damage. Since I've taken the cover off, here's a peek of the veggies growing in this garden bed. Some of the leaves have holes, but I'm hoping they will recover well after I have manually dealt with those pests. I use 6mm plastic sheeting to cover this raised bed and to keep the plants cozy during the coldest days of the fall and winter seasons. Though most of these plants can tolerate freezing temperatures, they can benefit from protection from the extreme cold. It helps them thrive and produce better. I absolutely agree that it's hard work to garden during the coldest months of the year, but I also like the thrill and having easy access to fresh leafy greens. It also keeps my momentum for gardening because I can grow all year round. I think fall and winter gardening isn't for everyone. It's almost impossible to do it in some zones. I'm just thankful that I can do it in my zone because our winter is pretty mild here. I hope you enjoyed watching this video. Let me know in the comments if there's any topic that you'd like me to cover. If you like this video, please don't forget to give us a thumbs up or a like, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel or follow my page. I really appreciate your time. Happy gardening! See you soon. Bye bye.